Hey, what's up, Forum? It's Diddy Kong, and the Modern Warfare 3 trailer was released yesterday, and we're going to do a little bit of analysis on that trailer. Now, just keep in mind it's single player only, which is to be expected because I think for Black Ops they didn't release any multiplayer footage till the August before the release. We might see some multiplayer footage next month during E3, but don't hold your breath. Probably going to wait a little bit longer. But this is single player footage only. But even though it's a short trailer and it's only about single player, we've got a lot of information for you, and we've got Stabby and Semper here to help me with the trailer. So let's go back to the beginning in the opening scene. We see the Hudson River outside of Manhattan, and in the lower left-hand corner we see a destroyer that is sinking into the water. And on the top right-hand corner we see a Russian Mi-24 Hind.
And in the top left-hand corner we see F-22 Raptors. We basically determined these to be F-22 Raptors because later on in the video, when you see them coming back in towards the city, you see the two exhausts.
And yeah, the difference, I think what you're mentioning before, the F-35 is a single exhaust jet, so that's how you could tell the difference.
Yes, correct.
Yep. All right.
At 10 seconds, we see the Mi-24 Hind flying right out in front of the New York Stock Exchange. It looks as if the Russians are deep inside American territory and they have a strong offensive going.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the war is still going on between U.S. and Russia from the end of Modern Warfare 2, so we get that already from the trailer. But we start to get a little bit more information on how the gameplay works. And from the beginning, we see what looks to be Delta Force, and unfortunately, we also see an M4 with a tube attachment. So there's tubes coming back for at least for single player, probably for multiplayer, unfortunately. But the big highlight of the scene is if you freeze right here, you see the select fire on the side of the gun. That could be purely aesthetics, or maybe in single player you can choose between semi-auto, triple shot, and fully automatic. And on the top of the gun, we see an EOTech holographic sight and a zoom scope as well. So we have two attachments, so multiple attachments on the M4. And there have been rumors in the multiplayer you're going to be able to have multiple attachments, multiple sided attachments as well. So that is a little bit of information that we get from the single player trailer.
And right here we appear to have a Russian Kursk K-141 sub, and it looks to be launching a P-700 naval anti-ship missile.
And that would explain why you see all the ships in the harbor being destroyed. So a big naval battle going on outside of New York City.
In this scene, we're switching focus over to England. We appear to be out in front of the House of Parliament, and we are located on Whitehall facing Downing Street, and they seem to be carrying H&K MP5s from Call of Duty 4.
Yeah, so we're seeing a return of that gun, at least for single player. And quick question: that the clock tower in the background, what do you guys call that clock tower?
I always call it the Big Ben.
Yeah, it's Big Ben.
Yeah.
A little known fact that we learned about when we were doing the analysis, that is the nickname for the bell in the tower. It's actually not the name of the entire clock tower. So that's just the clock tower for the Palace of Westminster or the House of Parliament. I didn't know that either. I always called it Big Ben. A little FYI. But the next scene, we look like we're located in the London Underground or the London Subway, and we see some tubes or the British equivalent tubes or rail cars, and they're being chased down by a full transit van. So we've got a little bit of a chase scene going on in single player, and we'll have to see how that pans out.
Once again, we're switching fronts, and this time we're going to Paris, France, and in the background you can see the Eiffel Tower. And then here it appears that he picks up a flame bomb or an incendiary grenade, or possibly an RPG, and throws it back. I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea either, man. Like you don't see anything really in his hand, then all of a sudden he chucks it out, and it looks like it's got propulsion behind it. It either catches fire, or I don't know. That's the one thing we could not figure out in this entire video is what that was.
And the one thing I saw, it could have been, if you've ever noticed when you throw a grenade, there's a little trail behind it. It could be the reflection of the propulsion from the RPG reflecting off of that.
Oh, interesting. Or he's taking steroids. I don't know.
In this scene, we see the Gendarmerie, which is the French equivalent to the U.S. National Guard, make an appearance in this game.
Yeah, look like they're in a pretty bad situation. They're being chased down by a hind. I wouldn't want to be in that small dinky van being shot by a helicopter. But again, we're switching fronts again. Obviously, this is a global war. I think in Modern Warfare 2 is really focused. At least the war front was focused between Russia and America, but we really are starting to see a much global war. And we're switching over to Germany. And either we've made it out from the initial Russian offensive when we were being attacked in New York City, or maybe that New York City scene is much later on and we're losing the war. So either we're winning the war and we're in Germany right now and we have U.S. tanks over in Germany and we're pushing Russia back, or it's the opposite. But we got an M1 Abrams tank in the middle of Germany, and this could be a return of tank missions.
Here in this scene, we see rappelling being brought back, which is pretty popular in the series. It's pretty much been in the past few Call of Duties. So everybody's just rappelling off buildings. But a closer look at this, our guy's sporting some Oakleys here, and a wristwatch. But what's really interesting about the wristwatch is that there's a little Easter egg on it, and I'm not sure what it means, but clearly on the wristwatch it says Rabbit Time. So maybe Rabbit Time is like them hopping over the building. I don't know. Just a little Easter egg.
In this scene, we see the A-10 Warthog. You know, it takes out a few things, takes out a Russian tank, and, you know, causes mass destruction.
And speaking of destruction, upcoming scene, we see a building starting to collapse. Now, there have been rumors that they're going to be destructible environments. Rumors, big, keep in mind rumors, nothing confirmed. So we see the building falling down. That could be a pre-canned animation, or that could be something that you, as a user, did. And we also don't know if that's limited to single player, or if we'll see that in multiplayer as well. But a little interesting thing to see that entire building collapse.
Yo, hold up, real. Stop the video. Is that dude tactically inserting right there? Like, there's a bunch of them. What the hell?
Yeah, it looks like they're bringing back tactical insertions, or maybe they're just using flares. I doubt after all of the complaints from Free For All, the tax insertion boosting, they'll bring it back. It's probably just the same models they use for flares, and they're just bringing it back in front of the New York Stock Exchange.
Nations on Earth.
It looks like the Russian Spetsnaz have taken some prisoners, and the AK-47 makes an appearance, at least in single player.
I could imagine that that's going to be brought back for multiplayer. I think that's a hugely popular gun. It was in COD 4. It was in every game I think except for World at War. But the STG-44 I think was the precursor to the AK-47. So it's been in every multiplayer for COD up to this point. Next scene, you hear Makarov in the background. You can't see the person who's walking up. It could be an important character throughout the Modern Warfare series, but it looks like that is the aftermath of the London subway chase scene. It doesn't look like it worked out very well for him, but we'll have to wait and see.
In this scene, we got the Russian hunter killer, which seems to be coming up for air, so to speak.
All right. In this scene, we see a UMP or a G36. We're not entirely sure. Being blind fired over a wall. Then you see MP5s being used to breach a room.
And then switching back to New York City, the final portion of this trailer is just highlights of all the different locations, and we look like we're in the Lincoln Tunnel, and it somehow is flooded. So New York is in a horrible situation if the tunnels are flooded like that. And looks like we got the Delta Force moving in underwater, using scuba equipment to infiltrate something. I don't know what they're trying to take out, but look like they're trying to do some type of a special operations mission.
Well, guys, in this scene, we got the AC-130, which is in Paris, and it's making its return, at least in a single-player mission. Who knows if it's going to be a kill streak or not. But you can see it switches from the 105mm cannon to the 40mm cannon.
And here we can see the players leaving a European metro, could be London or Paris, we're not sure. And you can see when he jumps over the check stand that you can see a P90 lying on the ground.
Another return, at least a single-player scene that was popular in Modern Warfare 2, is the RIB, or the Rigid Inflatable Boat. That was kind of the finale scene for Modern Warfare 2, and you're using that to get into Manhattan, apparently, and at the close of the scene, we see what looks to be maybe a Harpoon missile taking out that naval ship.
You freeze the frame where the car is flipping over. You can see what we believe to be the Berliner Dome in Germany, but the architecture also looks Eastern European, so it could be in Prague. We're not completely sure on the location of the building, but it looks like the Berliner Dome.
And in this last scene, we can see Manhattan in a state of total destruction from, the Russians invading. It's not in good condition. We got a problem. And
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, well, they close out with what they showed WW3, so this is supposed to be the end of the trilogy. So I imagine they're trying to make it the most epic ending ever. So they've escalated to World War III, and they do a little play on the on the acronym. So they changed from WW3 to MW3. So they're really trying to ramp up everything, get everybody excited for this final epic conclusion, which is supposed to take place over. It's a war on global scale. And they also mentioned the release date, November 8th. I actually said that in a previous video, so it's pretty cool that called that out. And 402 tweeted also that the forums at callofduty.com, those are the forums that were used for Black Ops, they're also going to be the same forums that can be used for Modern Warfare 3. So whenever they're up and running, feel free to jump over there and leave your feedback about the game, about the trailer, anything at all. I mean, the devs do occasionally go over there and look at stuff and get ideas, so feel free to jump over there. But Stab, Semper, I'm glad you guys came on and helped. And also, there's plenty of other guys that helped with the trailer analysis as well, so
Yeah.
thank them. But guys, thanks for coming on and helping.
Glad to
Thank
help.
you for having us.
And like always, guys, take it easy.